So you're looking for a location that will give you park-like scenes, walkable neighborhoods, not far from shopping, local train stations, schools that you don't have to run away from, and close proximity to New York City. You want all this bundled up, but at an affordable price. Well, where we are standing right here today, I'm Brookdale Park, right here in Bloomfield, New Jersey. This is the episode for you. Behind me directly is Bloomfield. If I pan around, although you will not see homes behind this park scene that's behind me and the tree line that's in the far distance. So with today's episode, we're going to take a look at Bloomfield and how the aesthetics are comparable to some parts of Montclair. Not far from Montclair, so you want to be able to engage, enjoy, and just routinely visit in a convenient travel distance to their dining scene, which is, in my opinion, second to none. But you can have that at a much more affordable rate. We're not talking about a budget that has to start basically at $800,000. All right, you can comfortably purchase in Bloomfield in high threes, 400s, and up. All right, so we're gonna have an opportunity to take a look at a couple properties. We're gonna take a look at a couple scenes right here in the park. We are going to also have a quick peek at one of the iconic movie scenes, all right, of recent history. When I say movie, it's a little loose because what we have now today, there's so many series that run, whether it be on Hulu or Amazon Prime or Netflix. In this case, it was HBO. Well, we use HBO Max now, but HBO. So this particular HBO series, The Sopranos. So we're going to see the famous end scene location for The Sopranos is right here in town. So stick around for that. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a walk in the park so you can get a look at areas beyond where I'm standing, which is kind of in the middle of a field, just to get a feel of the scale and scope of the park, which is really a fantastic location. All right, let's get started. Welcome to New Jersey Living. For those Jersey hunters who have been with me all along, welcome back. For those that are new to the channel, welcome aboard. Glad you're able to join the journey. I'm Corey Jones. I'm a real estate agent with Compass Real Estate. I often work with folks just like you that are looking for the best opportunity to either buy or sell a new home. So if you are interested in learning a little bit about the market, but also getting a feel for New Jersey, specifically northern New Jersey, the suburbs of New York City, within an hour driving range specifically, this is the channel for you. So please do click like, subscribe, and the notification bell. Should you want to stay tuned on upcoming episodes, we have a lot more to come, not only just on the market and properties, but features and communities. We're jumping into some features coming up next episode specifically with Hoboken East. We're going to be visiting some landmarks and some great entertainment spots, some really iconic locations within certain communities, and hidden gems also that you can find in different areas. So if you are interested in those things, by all means, please do like and subscribe. Also, comments, welcome comments. This is a community. So if there are things you want to see featured, if there's things that you want to just add in terms of insights or suggestions, they are welcome within this community. This particular episode, again, we're going to dive in to Bloomfield. Our first stop is right here, and we're going to jump into this in just a moment. But I'm going to get a quick pan to a location that we're about to take a quick visit to behind me. I mentioned it before. If you're a fan of Sopranos, you definitely recognize it, but in the camera, it's probably a little too distant. So I'll have a closer look in just a moment. But first, property featured behind me is 1 Holly Court. This is new construction, something that is not frequently found in this type of location in New Jersey because a lot of locations just don't have the land space. So typically what happens with new construction around northern New Jersey is a home is torn down to foundation and built up new. This is new construction in 2005. All right, so this is 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, was listed at $645. sold at $665. Square footage, 1867, so pretty good square footage, and taxes are at $15K. So that's one thing that you'll notice in Essex County particularly is you don't have the same tax breaks that you would see in a county like Middlesex. But location is great. We are just steps away from the bus line to Port Authority in Manhattan. This section of Bloomfield, I'm gonna flash up a quick map of Bloomfield. Bloomfield is sort of like a vertical rectangle-ish, if you will. And we're at the northern end. So Clifton is directly north of us. Montclair is to the west. Nutley is to the east. This is not in close proximity to a train station in this section of town, although Bloomfield does have a train station, but it's at the southern end. We're going to see that a little later in this episode. So for this kind of location, I'll pan around just a little bit. You're going to see this traffic light behind me, which is Watchung Ave. We are just, if you can call it 2 blocks, it's really not even a full 2 blocks, away from Brookdale Park. So great location, nice walkable neighborhood. You can see behind me there's a short strip of both the restaurants. You see the IHOP there. There's a nail salon, I believe, cleaners, fitness center. So these are the establishments that you see up and down. This is Broad Street, by the way. Broad leads all the way into Nutley, towards Nutley. So yeah, we're going to take a quick peek at the iconic scene that we want to kind of feature as our quote unquote, celebrity, famous, location, if you will, that's been in a movie. But we're going to continue our search from here. But again, here's a new construction example. This type of price point is certainly on the higher end. When we're talking about Bloomfield, we're going to see some other price points that are going to be even more budget friendly than this. All right, so let's get it started. Here we are at Holston's. Pan up a little bit so you can see the entire sign. It's a famous scene in the scene. Like, it's a really controversial to a degree as to how the whole series ended. Sopranos was one of the major hits of HBO ongoing series. Tony Soprano, that seems all likelihood the way the scene concluded, met his end right here in this not full service diner. Most diners in Jersey kind of do everything, but this is more kind of your sandwich, burgers, fries. They do homemade ice cream and homemade chocolates here that are fantastic. I just had some homemade ice cream, all made here on site. So this is where Tony Soprano came to his end at the final scene of that series. So this is one of those areas that you find throughout New Jersey where there are famous movie scenes that are shot. We have some more that we're going to take a look at when we drop into Bayonne, specifically, because there's a couple iconic locations there for one of the bigger sci-fi flicks that Tom Cruise did. So we're going to feature some of that there as well. So this, as you can hear behind me, we're still on Broad, not far from where we started at One Holly. Major thoroughfare, Watchung and Broad. And we're going to continue in this general area with 2 other properties that are in relatively close proximity to Brookdale Park, and then make our way south down towards the southern end of Bloomfield where we'll find the train station. So let's continue our journey now. Our second property is behind me at 37 Newell. And I'm going to pan around really quickly so you can see where we are. We are up against the border of Brookdale Park. So the homes along this stretch, which is Newell Drive, basically part of your front view is the park itself. Step across the street, walk through one of these openings, you're right there at the park without even having to drive anywhere. We pan back around, take a look at 37 Newell. This is a property, 3-bedroom, bath and a half. Well, listed at $629, sold at $775. That type of markup is because it was completely renovated this year, 2022. When you think about what we've seen in the Montclair episode, you kind of get a feel for how the price differences are, right? Because this is by no means something that would be in this price range or fully renovated property in Montclair. But you're right at the steps of Montclair. Beautiful neighborhood, panning around up and down, so you can kind of get a feel for the block. I have footage as well of the general neighborhood that you'll be able to see just in my drive in and around this location. So this again gives you an example of what a fully renovated, and this end price points do tend to be a bit higher when you're towards the Montclair border and when you're towards the Glen Ridge section as well in Bloomfield, because either because of the park location here in the Glen Ridge section, you do have some homes that are, you know, historic but larger. All right, so we'll see an example of one of those when we go down towards that end of town. All right, so take a view of some of this street footage that I've recorded along the way, and I'll see you at the next stop. Here we are at 18 Scott at our next destination. This is a cul-de-sac with a lot going on right now. As so often is the case, we have landscapers doing their thing. Got to keep, I guess, everything looking clean, but it's not great to compete with audio against that. 18 Scott, this is a Cape listed at $419 and sold at $510. This is particular property was not newly renovated, just cleaned up, fresh coat of paint, well maintained. Because of price point, it's going to draw a lot of activity. On the market 10 days, and believe me, it was an accepted offer before 10 days on this. It probably only took maybe 7 at best before going under contract. Privacy in terms of not having constant through traffic is one of the benefits of being on the cul-de-sac, and you're just kind of panning around to get a feel for that, even with the infrastructure work that's going on. One neighbor is just getting some things done on seems like a detached garage, but there's clearly some utility work going on the street. At the end of the street is the elementary school. So this is a perk where families that do have younger students who are maybe K-5, it's a great convenience to be directly down the block from the elementary. So this shows the more reasonable budget range that Bloomfield does offer, that again we may not find in some of the locations like Glen Ridge and Montclair. So we're going to start making our way now a little further down towards the southern end of town. As I said before, we're still towards the north. We're not as close to Brookdale Park right now, certainly not walking distance, but we're going to make our way down towards the southern end, get a look at some of the development that's taking place directly in proximity to the train station. Our final stop towards the northern end of Bloomfield is here at 81 Sadler. We are pretty much on the border of Bloomfield and Nutley. So Nutley is like a block over. 81, you can see the large yellow house. I wanted to get the profile of it. It actually is a 2-bed, bath and a half that was listed at $379,888 and sold at $450. All right, shows that 16 days on the market, did not last very long. This would have been one of those homes that were built originally around the turn of the century, like 1905 is the case in this one. Renovated over time. It shows that a renovation did take place in the 90s, and most likely just maintained from there. In this area, you do find your share. I'm gonna walk down just a little bit so we can see the front profile of it. You do find your share of homes that are 2 bedrooms in the Nutley and the Bloomfield section. That was not uncommon in the earlier portion of the 19th century. Likewise, a lot of homes that did have 3 bedrooms, the bedrooms weren't that large. And people weren't as large either at that time, not as tall generally, not as large. So bedrooms tend to be tighter. And as I've referenced in another episode, your older style homes tend to be kind of boxed off and segmented, not the open plans that you see today. So this, again, situation where you do have an opportunity to pursue a property under 400, sold over 4, but something that is still attainable from a bus line standpoint. We're not a far walk at all. from a bus line to get you into Port Authority. But the convenience of trains is a different section of town, and that is where we are headed now. So again, this is an example of opportunity that you can see with a 400 range, and I'm going to pan around just to give a feel for the surrounding neighborhood. A lot of capes, and you have a few colonial styles that are almost like a raised cape or raised ranch in the area as well. But all in all, relatively quiet neighborhood that certainly is an option for someone, particularly that first-time buyer. So let's make our way downtown at this point to see our last two and take a look at some of the developments that I referenced a little earlier around the train station. See you there. As we near the end of the Bloomfield episode, we are finally down towards the southern end of town, and the southern end on the east side, there is Newark. South is East Orange, and to the west, which is from where I'm standing right now, just really half a block or a block, is Glen Ridge. All right, so it's certainly the tale of different price points, because you will find substantial price point difference between a Glen Ridge, Bloomfield, Newark, East Orange. All right, so list price on 19 Coolidge, $539, sold at $717.11. What's with the $11, I don't know, but that's what came of it. But yes, this is reflective of what you can see trending in this community. The list price, was obviously kind of like that mid-5, but sold well over 7, because this is becoming more of a neighborhood in demand. I'm just going to pan around a little bit. You'll get an idea of what the surrounding area look like. The exterior is definitely very well done. This is an older property. Turn-of-century properties or early century properties will not often have like central air. This one still does not, but there are split units, which is an option that many people choose, particularly if they have a more open floor plan, that air can travel. Because one split unit may only cost about $4,200 to $4,500 materials and installation, versus going HVAC when you're talking about running ductwork throughout the property, particularly an older property, can be very challenging and costly. So this particular one went with your ductless split unit option. So I'm gonna walk down the block in just a second once we wrap up here, just to give you a feel of what the end of this block looks like in terms of when you're looking into Glen Ridge. Very, very similar, reflective of what you see in South Orange and Montclair, right? So this is, again, part of that draw of the general area. All right, so let's take one more quick stop in one of the local scenes here, and then we have a property that is like a stone's throw from the train station. So here we're at Midland and Coolidge, and just gonna give you a pan around without getting too directly into the street. I'm gonna step in just a little bit. I want you to just to catch the scene. The tree-lined streets is just absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. All right, so this is an area, again, most of these homes would be early 1900 that have been renovated. You see these guys just behind me getting some work done right there. So this right here where I stand is in Glen Ridge. And as we get into Coolidge, just a little further back down this block is where we find 19 Coolidge. They are literally like on the border again. So we've seen a border property with Nutley. Now we see a border with Glen Ridge. So we'll take a quick stop to, again, a hotspot local scene and make our way to our final property. I see you there. Here we have the stop that I referenced. This is 23 Skiddoo, local cafe that I just picked up a bag myself for my wife. I'm not a coffee drinker, actually, but my wife is somewhat of a connoisseur, so I had to get her some. So just to pan around a little bit, just so you see the neighborhood again. This has become a very well-known, popular establishment for the local area. A lot of people have come in from New York City, a lot of people from Jersey City that can find just how much your dollar stretches when you come out into the suburbs. So this particular location has been reasonably priced, but as you've just seen with 19 Coolidge, what can go be listed at $540, even maybe a $550, can easily go well above for this area because of demand. But this is a reflective of what's happening in Bloomfield, in the lower downtown section of Bloomfield. We're not far away from the local train station. We're still towards the Glen Ridge border, but even some of the sections towards your East Orange, which is a little further south from here, you see a similar trend. So great time to be in this type of community that, again, schools are not those that are high demand where people are getting into the town because of the schools, but they're not being deterred because of the schools, which is very important. So yes, this is some place that you'll want to stop, get yourself a bag of fresh ground beans, as I did, or if you have your own grinder, get beans whole, or get a fresh cup of coffee right here. All right, so we're off to our last 2 stops, which will be down by the train station and one more property. See you there. We're here at our final property view at 147 Washington Ave. We're really close to the downtown scene. This property, as you can see behind me, fully renovated. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, was listed at $549,888, sold at $640. Fully renovated, you're talking central air. You can obviously see windows, siding, roof, everything was done new on this property. So why price point of $640? Why wouldn't this elevate to a 700, like low 700, like 717 is what Coolidge went for? Why not this? We are in an area that starts to transition to a mix of residential and commercial. So right next door here, we have attorneys at law. All right, so you see some residential across the street. You also see some commercial, and then directly down the street, you can see where the train station, which we are going to walk to. We're probably about 500 feet from the train station, so we're going to walk over there from this location, which gives you an idea from a standpoint of convenience. So to have something new, that type of walking distance is certainly of value, to the point where it still almost went a full 100 above list price. This area, as you can see with development, and we're going to take a closer look at that development in just a minute. Along train lines, we're seeing that everywhere. Your luxury apartment complexes are developing in every town that has a train line going into the city, all of them. All right, so this one here, I can even make out that they're having some garage parking below, all right, with some residential units above. And because of location, there's a bit of a discount, if you will, in price. But if someone is coming from a Jersey City scene or even New York City, this type of scene right here is not bad at all, right? In terms of the amount of space that you have. And take a look here. You can see in the back, you have their own driveway and a 2-car garage parking in the back. Pan up again just to be able to see the full property. All right, train is coming in. Right now, we're gonna make our way down towards the station. All right, and I'll give you a little view of some other developments new to the area that are basically strategically positioned right there by the train station. I'll see you there. As we conclude, I'm here at the platform of the Bloomfield train station. So I'm just gonna pan around so that you can see new construction, newer projects that have already been completed, the one directly behind me. Pan around a little further. There is a photo of the one that's obscured a little bit by these trees. I've taken a photo of that. We'll flash that up really quick. Another development. This is the one that we saw. The one behind me now is the one that we saw directly diagonal adjacent to 147 Washington. And there's another completed one just a little further. So this is immediately in just visual proximity of the platform. There is more as we stretch out a few blocks from here. There's the downtown scene, which I'll take a quick shot of, so you'll get a glimpse of that. It's not far from here as well. Tons of retail. It's not what Montclair is, but to drive into Montclair from where we are right now, we're talking about 8 to 10 minutes, and we're right there in that beautiful dining scene. So this is certainly an option, an affordable option, one that gives you very, very similar aesthetics in terms of that neighborhood appeal at some spots of surrounding areas like Glen Ridge and Montclair. So for those who, again, are new to the channel, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode. Jersey Hunters, thank you for being with me once again. Please do click like, subscribe, and notification bell. This helps me to get my video out there to more viewers, to provide just value-added content, just to give some insights and information. We are just beginning. We have far more neighborhoods to hit. We are going to start diving into other types of content than just the market itself, and to eating, dining locations, to social scenes, to recreational. We're going to get into a lot more different varieties of content for these different neighborhoods. So please do like, subscribe, and hit notification bell. If you need to contact me, all of my information is right here in the details. If you're looking to buy, sell, if you want to make a comment, obviously just drop a comment in. But if you want to contact me directly, whether you're looking to do something in the next week or the next few months, please do drop a line on me. I would be happy to assist in any way that I can. Upcoming episodes, you're going to see that we're going to again feature some eats in Hoboken, as we have for our very next one, and we are going to have some giveaways. So those who are inclined to like, inclined to comment, we're going to have some giveaways of a variety, but some really nice ones for those who do participate in the channel, because I do want to hear from you. All right. So again, thank you for joining us. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay safe.